Welcome, friends, to Dog Grooming Unleashed. We are Leigh and Michelle Caluneo. Our mission is to create a safe, welcoming space for dog groomers and pet lovers to come together to learn, laugh, and feel supported. So join us as we build a community where pet parents and groomers can come together. We also want to help groomers grow in their skills, share their struggles, and feel connected to others in the industry. So get ready to learn and laugh. We're so excited to have you here.
And these two dogs decided to break out of their yard and they killed her in her backyard.
The dog turned around, ran back, jumped up, and bit the face of the dog on the table.
What was it like? Tell us.
She wasn't really stressed. She seemed fine. And then she froze up right on my table. And so immediately I took her lead off. I laid her down. My phone was right there. I called her mom.
So that bone, that whole bone, so his foot, the bone, and it went up to his thigh bone. That was flat. It had been broken.
Welcome to episode 5. Today we're going to talk about what dog groomers go through that you never see.
And the weight that dog groomers carry every day.
Yes.
It's serious. This is a serious one, guys.
Yeah.
Grab your favorite dog and hold them tight.
Yeah, today we're going to talk about some serious stuff. So, we're going to just talk about experiences we've had at the shop that were tough incidences, dogs that we've fallen madly in love with, and are here, and some that aren't. So we just want to share some stories with you, and hopefully you'll never have to experience some of these things.
Yeah, some of the things that I'm going to share, Michelle and I haven't talked previously because we like to surprise each other too with what we're sharing. Some of the things I'll be sharing, I've had my YouTube channel going hardcore since 2018. Some of these things I haven't ever talked about because it's hard to talk about it.
Yeah, me either. I haven't shared any of this stuff. Yeah. Yeah. I think there's a little bit of you want to share all the good stuff, I think sometimes too.
Yeah.
You love to share cute dogs from your shop, but I'll start. I had a Japanese Spitz that had a seizure, a bad seizure at my shop, and that was really scary. And luckily for me, which is totally not normal for most people, that I was a healthcare professional for 20 years. I dealt with human beings having seizures and kind of knew what to do, and knew this dog had just started a new seizure medicine. She was having more seizures frequently. And so I kind of was on my had my guard up a little bit because I knew that there was a chance that she could, and she did. And it wasn't pretty, and they never are. And but she,
Well, Michelle, what happened? What was it like? Tell us.
Yeah, I mean, I was blow drying her. We were almost to the end. She wasn't really stressed. She seemed fine. And then she froze up right on my table. And so immediately I took her lead off. I laid her down. My phone was right there. I called her mom and she asked me to record it for the vet.
Yeah.
And so she rushed right over with the medicine. I started recording it and just sat there with her and comforted her until she came out of it. But really scary. Anytime you think a dog might potentially be getting hurt at your shop, it's horrifying. Whether it's your van or it doesn't matter. We kind of go through the flow, and our emotions are kind of robotic some days because we're like, okay, good job. And we're giving the haircuts and doing our thing. And then all of a sudden something serious happens, and
we're not prepared for that to happen. This is the weight that dog groomers carry. We're not. We're having a good day. We know our son's got a baseball game after work. I'm going to get these beautiful dogs out of here, and
we're doing our grocery lists in our head.
Yeah. And after something like that happens, you just want to go crawl in a hole and say, I don't even want to be in public today. I got a lot on my head.
Your adrenaline's racing. I mean, you know what I mean? You're sweating, and because you just want to make sure they're okay. It can be pretty scary sometimes. Luckily, the whole situation was great. And the vet even told the owner that they were impressed on how well I handled it, which is obviously that's when it comes full circle and you hear that, you're like, okay, I did a good job. I did the right thing, but it's still really scary. It's not all just playing with puppies. Sometimes we're very responsible for people's dogs, which are often just like their family. And, a lot of people see their dogs like their kids. So, it's a little scary. If you're going to be grooming long enough, you're going to have instances like that. And it does weigh really heavy on us.
You are. And about that, there is help, guys. There are dog CPR courses. Some of them are more extensive than others, but there are CPR courses that you can take, and it kind of prepares you for all the little things that could go wrong in the grooming salon, what to have on hand in case these things happen. And there'll be things that you were like, gosh, I'm glad I took that class. I never thought
Yeah.
that that could happen. And I never thought that I should have this
Yeah.
there in case. There is a doggy first aid kit specifically that we should have as groomers. And I think everybody should take a doggy CPR course. They offer them at all the trade shows, and the trade shows, there's like 12 of them across the United States and outside of the United States. I do want to recommend that people do that. I did take one and it was quite enlightening,
Yeah,
definitely.
absolutely. Yep, me too. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it's important to those are kind of basic things to know. And again, because you just don't know
what to do.
when that stuff's gonna happen. Weird things happen. Dogs do, they like jump off things. I mean, just like I don't want to say like shops are a good place for accidents to happen, but my gosh, it's like being in a kindergarten classroom sometimes.
It
You know
is.
what I mean? They really are.
Anything can go wrong in a grooming
Mhm.
salon, just like it can go wrong in somebody's house or in their backyard
Yeah.
with a dog. These dogs
Yes.
have a mind of their own, regardless of whether or not we want to believe that. They do,
Yeah.
and it's no different in the grooming salon. And I hope everybody realizes that. Groomers as well as pet parents, it's asking a lot of a dog. It really is. And you're a professional that you put your trust in. Get the recommendations. Friends, family, get the recommendations. People that have a good reputation as a dog groomer have that reputation for a reason. So
Yes.
get your recommendations. Definitely.
Absolutely.
I've had a list of things too, Michelle. I don't know if probably all these things have happened with you. I do have a sad story to share. Maybe we'll save that to the end, the sad story, because you and I are both probably going to cry. But it's still so vivid for me, and it happened probably 18 years ago. But one of the things that has happened to me, I think it happened only once that I can remember, was I nicked a dog's tongue. I didn't cut the tongue, but I
Yeah.
nicked the tongue um, when I was trimming around the mouth because, and this is where I can help people understand how to avoid it. This particular dog always wanted to lick up his nose, lick, always
Yes.
licking. And I literally would, when it came time to scissor around here, I would have my hand like this and I would put my other finger in his mouth to hold his tongue in
Yeah.
because he was so adamant about, I'm going to lick that shear,
Yeah, sometimes they really wanna lick your scissors. I'm like, "Stop. Stop licking my tools."
Yeah, and he did. He did lick my shear. And we know how sharp they are. I've just cleaning my shears
Yep.
accidentally touched it the wrong way. And for 15 minutes, I'm sitting in my shop trying to get my finger to stop bleeding. And that's the same way with a tongue that will bleed a lot. What do you do? Pressure. I know
Yeah.
it's weird. You're like, so you've got the dog on a loop on the table, which is good. They're not going to go anywhere. But
Yeah.
you've got to keep a hold of them. You've got to have a cloth and got to get a hold of that tongue and got to put pressure on it for a
Yeah.
long time. I always recommend to all the clients, if it's a big enough cut, that hasn't happened to me. Thank God.
Yeah, thank God, me
I
too, yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
just
do
saw a bad
recommend.
one, that someone posted recently where it was like a cut, like, and I thought, "Oh
You can't.
gosh."
Yeah. And I don't believe you can even fix that. They can't. I think they tried to stitch that one up, but it's the mouth. You
Yeah.
can't. And and it's sad if it happens. I understand. And literally, I mean, that's the kind of stuff that literally makes you want to say, "I'm done. I'm going to call everybody, all of my 200 clients. I'm going to say I quit.
Yeah.
I don't want to endure this." But guys, it happens. It's an accident. Don't rush in your grooming sessions. That's how accidents can happen because
Yeah.
you're a step ahead of yourself. Stay in the moment when you're grooming. It's very important. And realize that silly little accidents like this can happen with no warning. It just happens.
Yeah.
And now here you're in that moment. I've also learned the hard way. I nicked a pad with a shear. It didn't require stitches, but we're talking about areas that bleed a lot.
Yeah.
And the reason is because in a dog's paw, these two pads up here are flush with each other. But this back pad that they stand on,
And it dips out a little bit.
it dips out.
Yeah.
Beware that. So when I'm scissoring around a pad, I make sure I scissor around the pad and never lay the shear. That's how I did it.
Yeah.
And I didn't take a chunk or anything, but the tongue, the ears, the pads will bleed something fierce.
Yeah.
And it's like a paper cut, but it
And the
will.
tongue, if they're excited too, it's like you almost got to get them to calm down,
Yes.
you know?
For it to slow down. And, always be very upfront and honest with the owner.
Yes.
Literally, if you're upset and you're arousal, look, guys, you don't have to finish that grooming session today. It's not what's important at the moment. And
Yeah.
you can explain that to them. They'd be like, "Hey, you didn't finish the groom." I'm like, I can't. I'm shook up. Look at my hands. I
I know.
can't scissor your dog right now. Bring her back tomorrow. I'll come in early and I will finish. I need to come down off this. I can't show up for your dog like I need to. I got to bring that confidence and compassion to the grooming table. And right now, my head is in a bad place. And they understand. They
I
do.
always feel like too, like it's always like the perfect groom and you're just finishing and you're doing like these final little touches that you didn't even need to do.
And it's a
And
good dog.
and it's a great dog, and that's where, like, and I'm like, "What the heck? I can't believe I just did that," you know? And so it's so hard. It hurts our hearts so bad. One of my worst cuts was, it was a neighbor of mine. It was the first poodle I had ever worked on, and, so I'd been grooming this dog for, like, a year and a half, and it had been a little bit, so he got some pretty good matting, so I had to shave him down, and I got, like, now I'll never go near the inside of a leg with a 7 blade, but I learned that the hard way, and you know what? He didn't even bleed, he didn't flinch, it was
But
so
it's like a
tiny.
slice.
Yeah, he didn't need stitches, it was really thin, but it was enough that I was I stopped everything, I called her, and I'm crying, and she's like, "He's so dramatic, like, you're fine. I know he moved and you're fine." And that's what happened. Like, he was just kind of sitting there, and then he like donkey kicked.
Yeah.
And I'm so careful with a 7, like we all are. Like, you know what I
It's
mean? Like
good
you
you
it's
mentioned it. You can cut a dog with a clipper blade.
yes. And so it was just like and that was the worst one I ever did. It's still there with me. She was so wonderful, thank God, and was so understanding. He didn't need any vet care
You
or
call
anything
the
like
owner,
that.
you're like, come over, hold me.
I
I'm
literally
upset.
stopped everything. I mean, it was like, and then the next time she came in, she like brought me a gift. Like she's so wonderful. Like, I mean, and I think
Because she
so.
felt bad for you because she knew that you wanted to do
Yes.
your best.
Yes. You do really want to, if you're, and that is a point I want to bring in too, is that if you're feeling frustrated as a groomer and you're having a hard time with a dog, I'm a big advocate for like putting them on the floor, putting them down for a little bit and regrouping. Because if they're just being naughty, they're having a moment, and you're starting to feel that like in your body too. They know, and they know they're getting a rise out of you because they understand body language more than we do.
They
And
do.
so if you've been fighting with this dog for 20 minutes, they're just being difficult. I'm a huge fan of being like, all right, Sassy May, like we're putting you on the floor, we're giving you a little
Mhm.
break. I'm gonna go eat a banana or
Gonna
have a
walk away too.
yep,
Mhm.
yep, and just take a break. And if there's another dog there, maybe I'll bathe that one and get
Yep.
them started or whatever, just to kind of I think that that's so much better than working through some of the nonsense sometimes. And
The
they might get that.
frustration keeps building between you
Yes.
and the dog's frustration.
Yes.
That's what's gonna
Yes.
happen.
And so I don't like to groom when I'm frustrated. I always say I don't make videos either when I'm mad. Like don't like,
Yep.
you know what I mean? I don't make videos when I'm all mad or fired up. And so it's just, you don't want to do that. So it's
Yep.
always okay to regroup and take a minute. And if it takes longer, don't worry. It's
Just
okay.
take the time you need. It's called a
Mhm.
reset for
Yeah.
you and for the dog. Or maybe it's just you that needs to reset. Maybe you've got something really heavy on your mind today and you see it's showing up at the grooming
Yeah.
table. And you say, I'm sorry, Fluffy. I'm going to put you down a second. I'm going to take a minute. I'm going to listen to maybe an inspiring song that makes me feel happy or makes me think of good things or whatever. I need
Right.
a moment. I need a moment. I need to bring the confidence to the grooming table so that I can show up appropriately for you, Fluffy, who's on my table or whatever.
Because we love your dog so much. And I think the topic I wanted to bring up too is like the special connections that we make with them. And one was this dog Max was this giant golden retriever mix. He really just looked like a golden retriever, but he was huge. I think he was mixed with something else that was giant. But the first day he walked in, he literally walked up to me, leaned his whole body up against me, and just looked at me, and then like was wagging his tail, and then looked at his mom like, "See you later," and just and it was like from that moment I felt so madly in love with this dog. And so I laughed when I found this fun dog fact. Okay, because groomers, really fall in love with people's dogs, and that's a
Mhm.
burden that we carry too because I didn't anticipate how much that was going to be a real thing. But did you know that when dogs can actually fall in love, and chemically speaking, and when a dog looks at their favorite human or us, because they love us, we're also like their favorites, you both release oxytocin, the same love hormone that bonds mothers and babies. And I just thought that was so funny because it made me think of this dog Max, because every time he came in, he loved me so hard, you
Yeah.
know. And that when, as I groomed him,
You're
and
like,
he,
that makes sense because that happened.
yeah, and I loved him back so much. And so we just worked so beautifully together, I think, because we had such a great relationship. And obviously I love Goldens too, so that helped a lot. But
Yeah.
he was he was really old, and he just had a hard time standing. And so I would sit in a stool while he was laying on my table, and I would trim
Mhm.
his nails and trim his feet and do all that for him. And so when he passed away,
It
oh,
hurts.
oh,
Yeah,
it's
I've had
just
those dogs too, where I mean, I can see them out in the community and they all of a sudden are trying their hardest to get away from their owner to come to me. But
yes,
and they love their owner, but they love me too.
yes,
They showed that, and it's
yeah.
crazy the bond you can have just with your client pets.
Yeah. And some of them don't. I Most of my mini schnauzers, I always imitate them, and they're always like at the window, and they're like, "Ah," because every mini schnauzer I have, they're like, "Okay." Like, you know what I mean? They're so over
Get me
me.
away from her.
Yeah, and, like, when they get there, they're like, "Mom," like, "She touched me." And so that's my personal experience of mini schnauzers. Now, of course, I've met other ones that are always like that, but yeah, I mean, we really formed these strong bonds with them, and that was something that I always say I did not anticipate, and
Mhm.
that is just so, I don't know, it's hard. It's hard, we love
It's a
them.
blessing
Yeah, it
to be
is.
able to have such a connection with not just your own dogs, right?
Yeah.
It's like a blessing, it's a bonus, it's a gift from the dog,
Mhm.
and that is not the weight that groomers carry. That is the good things that keep us going every day.
It's true. It's
There is a
true.
lot of emotional weight that goes along with being a groomer or
I
seeing.
think I think I mean the weight, like, when they die. I think
Oh,
that's
that's
probably,
heavy.
yeah, that's what, like, I love that they love us, and that's
Yeah,
great, but it's like it's so hard to lose them. It's
it
hard to
is.
lose them like they are one of, not I mean, I know it's a little different. Yeah, I'm not coming home to your dog every day, but man, it really hurts our heart when they leave the owners.
Real quick story. This isn't my worst one, but I'll make this one snappy. This little dog named Tink. She would come in. She was a weird mix. It was a like a Bichon and some type of terrier, maybe a Yorkie. And she was
Mhm.
a rescue. And she was the sweetest girl. And she didn't trust everybody, but she was never angry. She would just shy away from a lot of people. But she trusted me heavily, and I groomed her for years. And I got a call from her owner, and they lived in town. It's a nice little town that we live in,
Yeah.
and somebody's I wish people really understood the capabilities of their dogs. But so these were two dogs that were neighbors. She had been around the dogs a lot, but she was in her yard, and these two dogs decided to break out of their yard and they killed her in her backyard.
Ugh.
And I got that call, and I literally was feeling so sick, and he was this was hard for him to even tell me. He witnessed it, and I felt like throwing up. I
Yeah,
was like, "How? That's horrible.
that's horrifying.
That's horrible." And all I could picture was little Tink, and the last time I saw her, and how pleasing she always was, and it made me feel so helpless and hopeless for her, and just for him. So that was terrible. So
Yeah.
that's some emotional weight that groomers carry. We have to hear these terrible things. Nice tail, Cash.
And we're so, hi, Cash. And I think for me too, like when I lost Nellie, how all my customers came forward to comfort
For
me too,
you.
and it was like that time it was the other way around because usually it's me, because a lot of people's dogs that I groom, they have multiple dogs, so they lose one, but I'm still their groomer, or they've got new puppies and they come back to me. And what you said, how people don't understand, I think sometimes how what their dogs are capable of.
Yeah, yeah, especially 2 dogs together can be
Yep.
unpredictable
Yep.
if you know each one individually, but then, when they're together in a situation where one of them is triggered about something, the
Yes.
other one is almost gonna follow suit. It's that pack
Yeah, the pack
mentality.
mentality.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So things
Absolutely.
can happen, and that can happen in the grooming salon too if you have 2 dogs that come together
Mhm.
and one gets triggered about something and the other one decides he's gonna defend.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, that's something that can happen too. Is there any other things that you really want to share with our unleashed peoples?
Yeah, I mean, one time I had a doodle. I was walking a doodle out of the crate and I had him on his leash and I had another dog on the table. And my husband was there at the shop with me. So I put the table up really high. They were both big dogs. I put the table up real high. My husband was standing right there. So like it was controlled. Like it wasn't like I was just letting dogs run around. And my shop's not huge. It's like 500 square feet, right? So I mean, I try to keep it really controlled in there, especially with the big dogs.
Hmm.
So I walked over and I gave the dog to her, and then we just started talking, and the dog turned around, ran back, jumped up, and bit the face of the dog on the table. Like there's 3 adults there and 2 dogs. Like I couldn't even believe.
Well,
I couldn't even, and I was like,
yeah,
and I was like, did he just, and this dog I've been grooming forever. He's never done anything like that. Like I've
but
never,
he was overly excited because
his
he was
mom got
going
there.
home.
Yes. So he
It
got
was
excited
it
and
was excitement.
stimulated.
It was
Yeah.
adrenaline.
So we ran over and I didn't even think he got the dog on the table. And the owner came, she's like, I'm so sorry. And then my husband was standing right there. Like he just happened to be at the shop with me. And he's like, oh my, like it just happened so fast,
Yeah,
like
he's
it
like,
always
I couldn't
does.
even done anything. It was just so quick.
So she leaves and I think everything's okay. And then right on her nose starts to like swell a little bit. And
Oh,
you could see just like 3 little marks from
yeah.
those incisors, like just 3
And
little marks.
it could have been just the force of the tooth hitting her, like, he may not have clamped down on
He
her,
didn't. I mean, obviously, wasn't trying to do damage, but
but
he
that
left 3
like
little
that.
dots.
Yeah, oh, that's sad.
So I cleaned it with some sterile saline, and when mom got there, I literally was bawling my like, but she was hugging me, like
Yeah,
comforting me.
yeah,
Like, I am so sorry. And luckily, like she stayed, like she didn't leave me. You know what I mean? But it's just one of those accidents can happen. And we learn from it. I mean, I was really careful before. I am like so ridiculously careful now with dogs from 2 separate households.
yeah,
And I always have been. I mean, but again, it was just this. I mean, it really seemed like a controlled situation. He's on a leash, but
mhm.
he wasn't, mom didn't have it in her hand. He's never acted that way.
They're unpredictable.
And
Yeah,
that situation where you have professionals, like I know what I'm doing. The dog on the table is lovely and isn't making a peep, not moving, not excited, not barking. That dog on the table was just sitting there like
just
an
sitting
angel.
there.
Yes,
Yeah,
and everything seemed controlled, and then that happened. So
yeah.
anyways, situations can be unpredictable, and that was one of those moments where I was like, oh my gosh, like, do I want to do this anymore? That just hurt my heart so bad.
These are the things that can happen, guys, that we wouldn't predict. And then you'll carry the weight
Yeah.
into your next grooming session. You feel like a failure. You're not a failure. You are working with live animals, they
Hmm.
are not humans. And you do have to always have your guard up. You always have to be prepared for unpredictable behavior, even stuff like that. But no, can we predict it? No. All we can do is try to prevent it in any way possible by always keeping the dogs separated or always keep them safely harnessed. All these things that is the best we can do. And still, sometimes bad things are going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. My last story is pretty sick. Um, we have a lot of puppy mills here in Pennsylvania. It's really
Yeah.
overran with puppy mills. And this particular customer of mine who has a Maltese she had that she brought in regularly every 6 weeks.
Mhm.
And this little pup was great. I loved her. And she would always bring her little kids with her when they picked her up. And
Yeah.
I thought she was their only dog. I would have never known they had another dog. And all of a
Yeah.
sudden, after a couple of years, she says, "Hey, we have a miniature poodle. Would you be willing to groom him for us?" I said, "Did you just get him?" "No, we've had him for a couple years." And I was like, "Ooh." Right then I knew something's up here. I
Yeah.
said, "So has he been who's been grooming him?" "Oh, no, my husband just does it every now and then." I'm like, "What?
Uh,
What?"
red flags. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going, "Well, shoot," and I forget the name of the little white dog, and she was pleasant and sweet, and they loved that dog, and I was like, "Yeah, well, of course I'll groom your poodle, but I don't have anything for a couple weeks, but, okay, can we do
Yeah.
this day?" Yeah, so we scheduled the poodle. So she brings it in with the kids. The little poodle is scared, puts himself in a corner. He was a red colored mini,
Okay.
really cute, and a boy. And I could see clearly he was not um, trusting of people. Not that he was vicious. He was protecting, scared.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, poor thing." And you know what else was obvious? He was extremely mad. Like,
Of
I mean,
course.
extreme.
Yeah.
I have a video on my channel talking about this. It was a live stream, and I showed pictures on my YouTube channel. I shared this story there. So I was a little upset and annoyed with the owner right away. I'm like, "How can you do this to this dog? How do you allow this dog to be treated with the respect it deserves, but not this one?" And
Yeah.
so I couldn't wait for her to leave and to come here, you
Yeah.
know. And I sat down on the floor because I'm like, Is he even used he's obviously in a barn. He had pieces of straw stuff. He was a breeding dog. It
Oh,
was terrible. And but he came in and he nestled in me, almost like, you say, Michelle, these dogs that just automatically like, "Wow, look, I trust you. Maybe you can help me." I bawled all the way through this because I knew I had to send him back to a bad situation, that he wasn't important and he wasn't considered. And but that wasn't the worst part. So he trusted me right away. He had obviously never really even been grown before with the condition that he was in.
yeah.
So I had to get the mats off of him first before I could even consider bathing or anything like that. So we're on the table. I'm removing the mats with a 7 blade. He's extremely trusting of me. And every time he could, he'd just lean into me. It was, oh, it just broke
Aw.
my heart. I wanted to keep him so bad. The worst part was once I noticed he kept sitting, and then when he would stand, he was standing weird. Dogs have the hock bone, the joint, the knee to the
Yeah.
that bone
Yeah.
is flat on the floor. So that bone, that whole bone, so his foot, the bone, and it went up to his thigh bone. That was
Oh,
flat. It had been broken, not by me,
right.
but I couldn't see that until I got the thickness of all this matting and stuff off. And I literally have pictures of me holding it. It looked, you could see all four legs and the head holding it. It was like a bear rug once I got it off of him. And but I couldn't see that injury until I got the hair off. And I had a helper with me at the time, and her and I are both just appalled and shock, sorry for him. We called our authorities around here is our humane league shelters. So we
Okay.
called them, and we said, "What do we do? I want to keep him. Can I just offer to keep him?" They said, "You can offer that, but they're probably not going to take you up on it. It is their dog."
Right.
So, but they said, "We will go out and investigate at the home, give me the address." And I did give them the address. So I never really, it's not their job to report back to me. I don't
Right.
know whatever happened to Little Red. That's what I called him. But I had to let him go. I was crying. They came back and I said, "He has an injury. First of all, you didn't even tell me that he's injured." And she said, "That happened a long time ago." And I said, "And you didn't get it fixed?" I
Yeah. I
said,
would.
he was,
Yeah.
you could see where a bone was like snapped, and it was just horrible. They had every excuse. I said, "Can I buy him, please? I want to keep him. He's in the barn." "Well, but no, but he follows my husband around." I said, I'll give him a life,
Yeah.
and no, they would not. And I was just in tears. It wrecked me for quite some time. I couldn't stop thinking about him, and
Oh,
there was nothing legally I could do. I would have paid them money for that dog, and they weren't willing to give him up because they were using him for breeding. And even though his quality of life was, he probably had gotten hit by a car, if you ask me.
so
um
heartbreaking.
yeah, so they just let him walk around on his pastern. I think it's his pastern. Yeah, they just let him walk around like that for the rest of his life. I don't know how long that life was. I would say it probably wasn't long because
Probably wasn't long.
they
No.
were not good people. I'm telling you.
Ugh, so
So
sad.
that was the worst one. I still carry that emotional weight till this day with
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
Yeah, breeding dogs are tough. I found that when I volunteer at the Humane Society, that it's almost nice because I don't have to deal with owners. So
Yeah.
we go there and I'll see these dogs, and you're just like, me and all the people there will be like, oh, people are disgusting. And
Yeah,
like, you don't even, because it's hard when you got to come back and talk to an owner. Luckily, I mean, I
it
don't deal with
is.
a lot of that here. I have the same customers. I don't really take new customers, you
Hmm.
know. So that's, I don't have to deal too much with that. But I
Hmm.
did in the beginning. And it's hard because
Yes.
you're grooming and you're mad, you're so upset that this dog looks this way, and your heartbreak, like you're just
You
you
don't want to
don't
send him back
understand,
to that.
you don't understand why this dog looks like this, and they reek like urine, and they're matted, and they have feces stuck in
Hmm.
them, and why is
He
this
had
dog,
all that. All
why
that.
are they walking around looking like this? Like, come on, you
Well,
know.
oftentimes those mats will restrict their movement. The longer
Yes.
you let a dog become so heavily matted, they can't even lift their leg the way they need to, or their ears and eyes are matted shut. I mean, it's like, come on. And this affects their quality of life. It literally is neglectful, and neglect, just like if children are neglected and not cared for, that is abuse.
Yeah.
There's a lot less rights for dogs, depending on where you live.
There was a dog at the shelter that was adopted out like a year ago, this little fluffy mix, like a 10-pound dog. He ended up back at the Humane Society missing a leg. So I did a little video on him. It was matted, just disgustingly matted. But someone came there, chose this dog, took this dog home with four healthy legs, and then, a year later ends up back. They chipped it, and so they could see that. And I said,
Oh,
"Well, are
you
you
mean
gonna?"
he wasn't surrendered? He was found
He was
roaming?
found again,
They
ended up
dumped him?
back at the Humane Society, and he was missing a leg. And I'm like, "Oh my god." Like, so it's just hard for us. Like, we're such animal lovers. Like, we love them so much. We
Yeah.
take good care of our pets. And I understand when sometimes people, like, I have some older ones that have lost a spouse, or something serious has had it happen in your life. And I am not going to judge you if you come in and your dog has knots behind their ears
Yeah,
and you
no,
had to
I
miss an
know.
appointment.
Things happen.
But
Yeah.
this is different. This is
Yes.
neglect. Yeah. And it's hard
Yeah.
for us to witness this.
We, us humans are the ones who domesticated dogs in the first place. So we already committed to that. We
Yeah.
committed. This is, there should be tougher laws. Some states, the laws are tougher than others. I mean, it's up to the states. But we are the ones who domesticated these animals, and we brought them
Yeah.
into our homes. We owe them. Now,
Yeah.
we do. Now we have expectations for our dogs, but they're trainable. All dogs are trainable. You have to teach them.
Yes. Yes, they are. Yeah.
Anyway,
They're all trainable.
what a yucky topic to have to
I
talk
know, but
about.
I think a good one. We want our viewers to really know that we have had, and we're just laying out all of our dirty laundry. We've had times too. We've nicked dogs. We've had, scary seizures and
Mhm.
matted
I
dogs
have
that,
experienced that too.
yeah, or
Hmm.
dogs that you're crying during the groom because it's just so bad. And
Yeah,
so we've all been there, and
you
we know
carry
how it
the weight.
feels carrying the weight for
Yeah,
sure.
that's what we do. So until next episode, guys, you're not alone carrying that weight. We
No,
got you. Reach
yep.
out,
Message us
comment,
if you have any thoughts or comments or
something you need to
questions.
get off your chest.
Yes,
Put it in
we're
the
here for
comment.
you.
You will be amazed the support you get in the comments of people saying, "Look, you're human. You did the
Mhm.
best you could," or whatever. And sometimes as groomers, we don't have a lot of groomer friends to confide in. So
Yeah.
having a safe place to feel heard and to feel seen and to feel understood. That's
Yeah.
what we created here. That is what this Dog Grooming Unleashed community is all about, and we're here for you.
Absolutely. Till
So
next time.
till next time,
Were
that's
you
right.
going to say that? Jinx!
You want to say it at the same time? Till next time.
Till next time.
Okay. But we love you
Bye.
guys. Hey.
Love you. Bye, everyone.
That wraps up today's episode of Dog Grooming Unleashed. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. We are truly grateful to have you as part of our Unleashed community. Don't forget, we drop new episodes every Monday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So grab your coffee or your clippers and hang out with us again, my friend, next week. If today's conversation made you laugh, taught you something new, or just made you feel seen as a groomer or a pet enthusiast, please take a second to like, subscribe, and share this episode with a friend. And we'd love to hear from you. Drop your thoughts, questions, or even your funniest grooming moments in the comments. We might just feature your story or question in the next episode. And we can't wait to keep learning, laughing, and growing right alongside of you. Stay kind, stay curious, and keep grooming from your heart.